All right. Okay. First of all, I would like to thanks UTHM, especially Faculty of Technology Management and Business, for inviting me for this morning talk. It is a knowledge sharing session with all the postgraduate students of this faculty. Kenapa dia berdengar ni, Doktor? Wait, hello. Hello, Dr. Sonia.
Yes, Prof.
Is it okay now?
Yes, Prof. Now okay.
All right, very good. All right.
Okay.
So this morning, I'm going to share my little bit of experiences regarding the common mistakes in the thesis write-up. Actually, it is based on the compilation from my experiences, being the external examiner for the master's and PhD thesis for various universities in Malaysia and also overseas. So I think what I'm going to share here is very much needed, and all postgraduate students should pay attention to, because I think this could be a guide for you in writing a good thesis. Because you must remember, being a postgraduate student, actually it is not only what I call doing the research, doing all the experiments, anything which is related to the job or to the task being a researcher. But you must what I call put in the scholarly written manuscript, which we call a thesis. So actually, besides thesis, we as postgraduate students must also come out with the article which can be a review article, conceptual article, empirical article, empirical paper, anything. And towards the end of your study, so you must come up with a thesis. So you must come up with a thesis that could what I call that could make other people understand what you are trying to what I call to tell the readers what you are doing, and what is the most important thing is what is the contribution out of your thesis. This is very important. Being a research student, even from the beginning of your study, you must think of something which is very new. So this is very important. So PhD is a learning process. Definitely, it is a learning process. So what can you what I call grad from your study? So the first thing before you begin your research is you are trying to what I call you are trying to figure out what is the what I call contribution. What are you going to contribute to the body of knowledge, or which come from your experiment, from your empirical study. So you must think of that. Because masters by research and PhD by research is about contribution to the body of knowledge, or anything which contributes to the practices whatsoever that I'm going to share with you later on. But firstly, as everyone knows that we know some universities, but in Malaysia usually we call it as a thesis. But in some other countries they call it as dissertation. But in Malaysia, usually dissertation we denote, we call for masters by project, or masters by coursework. So the manuscript, we call it as dissertation. But thesis is something which is you write in a bigger scale. So that is thesis, master's thesis or PhD thesis. But actually, basically in Malaysia, when we are doing masters by research or PhD by research, we are talking about thesis. So in short, thesis is about an original research original research work that helps obtain a PhD degree. Yeah. So if you want to obtain a PhD degree, so you must come up with a PhD thesis. All right. So PhD thesis is no more like a novel. Yeah. It's no more like newspapers article. It is about scholarly written manuscript. Yeah. So you must understand what called the what is the meaning of thesis, yeah? Because once you understand the value of the thesis, yeah, because for let's say for a PhD, at least you spend about more or less about 3 years, yeah, you spend for a doctoral study and then towards the end of your study, you have to come up with a thesis, yeah. So this thesis should what we call should picture the what we call the scholarly written manuscript. This is very important. Some students, sorry to say that when you submit the thesis, uh, especially PhD thesis, actually you even do not know what a thesis is all about. Because thesis is a masterpiece of your own original work. This is very important. Thesis is your masterpiece of your own original work. Definitely, you cannot replicate what other people have done. Yeah, if you replicate other people's study, yeah. So I think that probably is suitable for the master's project only. You can do that for master's project. For master's by research, master's thesis and PhD thesis, you cannot do that. Yeah. So you must differentiate, yeah, between master's project and thesis. Yeah. So, but for master's thesis, we can say that master's thesis probably one third of PhD thesis. Yeah, we can what call assume that way. Yeah, so this is very important. So I try to begin my talk or my knowledge sharing session with the meaning or definition of thesis and dissertation. Yeah. So hope that everyone is clear about that. Yeah, you are clear about this since you are a research student. Yeah. So research students at the end of your study, you have to come up with the with the uh, with the thesis. Yeah. And basically, this is the what we call general outline of my talk. Yeah. Which I'll begin with general comments or mistakes. Yeah. Which I found in general from my experiences when I what we call examine thesis. Yeah. And for your information, I have examined uh, almost 50 theses. I've examined almost 50 masters and PhD theses. So I think from these from these experiences, I think you can get something. Yeah? You can grab something that you have to avoid. Yeah. When you write your own masterpiece. Yeah. So this is very important. Okay. Everyone, so far, so can you clear my, can you follow my explanation? Are you there?
Yes, Prof.
Okay, everyone, are you clear?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof. It's
Okay,
clear.
very good. Yeah. So I hope that this is I mean this is very general one. Before we proceed to the next level. All right, and then after that I'm going to tell you about the abstract. Yeah, abstract definitely actually abstract is the first thing, yeah, that most examiners will read. Yeah, besides your title. Yeah, and then it goes to your abstract. Yeah, usually abstract what we call will attract the attention of the examiner. Yeah, if you write the abstract accordingly, I think you don't have any problems. There's no problem for the examiner to proceed. Yeah, you must also make sure that how to entice the examiner to proceed reading your thesis. Because sometimes most students read about 300 pages, more than 200 pages of thesis. So definitely the what call sometimes the examiner's attention will also get distracted. So you must ensure that how the examiner's attention could be retained, while reading your thesis, 200 pages. So this is very important. And then after that, I'm going to discuss about the common mistakes in the chapter 1, definitely introduction. Basically, there are 5 chapters in thesis. Some students will go for 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 10 chapters. It doesn't matter, but depends on the number of objectives which you have outlined in the thesis. But basically, I'm going to share you the 5 common chapters for a thesis. Okay, so I'm going to discuss about the problem statement, research questions, and research objectives. What are the common deficiencies and mistakes that most students did? And then I'm going to discuss about the literature reviews. The misconceptualization of research framework, and then the gap of study, and then we will look at the literature reviews or literature reporting. This is very big issue that research students must understand, because you are doing PhD or masters by thesis, so you are not doing undergraduate project, If undergraduate project, then I think we can say it is acceptable lah, literature reporting, but it is something else. We'll look at this, And then chapter 3, I'm going to discuss about the research design, the flaws that most students did, and then the research philosophy, and then the misunderstanding of sampling procedure. This is very important. Most students, especially from non-mathematics or non-statistics students, they have a very high misunderstanding of sampling procedures. Even they confused with the sampling, random sampling method. They don't even know, they don't even bother what is the definition, the real definition of random. So I will explain about this. And then most students are very lacking in statistics basics. This is very important. And not only what we call masters or PhD students, but some, sorry to say, some people who are doing statistical analysis, they actually don't really understand what they are doing. I'll explain this. And then after that, I'm going to discuss about the common mistakes in data analysis, as well as the discussions and the conclusions. All right. Okay, so this is the general mistakes. General mistakes that actually there are many more mistakes, but this is the points that I've taken just for the sake of this presentation, and I consider that this is very important. Okay, what is the general mistakes here? Actually, the general mistakes here, it indicates the quality of the thesis. You must remember, actually, the first point here is formatting, the format of the thesis. We, as examiner, understands that every university will have different format. That one, it's okay. We have a very different format, but sometimes the what we call the margin, the margin, the what we call when you submit the thesis, you don't even bother to check for the formatting. In terms of margin, in terms of spacing, in terms of anything, in terms of the clearance of the whether the what I call the figures, the tables are clear or not. Sometimes the figure are not properly indented. So actually, although it looks what I call something like it looks a teeny what I call problem, but actually it distracts the attention, or also it indicates the quality of your thesis, whereby you as a research student actually does not really look into this. So you must, as I told you, thesis is your masterpiece. So as a masterpiece, you must really into it. So you must look at in terms of formatting, in terms of spelling. So nowadays we have a lot of softwares, a lot of apps in order to check for the spelling in terms of checking the sentence structures, like Grammarly, and we have many more apps that you can use. So other than that, incomplete sentences. So when the examiner read the statements, the sentences, it is incomplete and it's hanging. So when this is happening, then definitely it distracts the attention of the examiner. So then we can get an overall picture of the quality of the whole thesis. So if the examiner already had this kind of perception, then probably it affects the what we call the it affects your thesis. So you must check on this. Every sentences that you put in the thesis and also should be properly cited. Properly cited or reference because you are doing masters or PhD by thesis. We are not we are not writing news article in a local dailies. So we are doing academic work. Where any statement should be given citation appropriately or accordingly. All right. And then numbering of figures and tables are haphazard. This is very lousy part. And some students, when they submit the thesis, they don't even bother to see the numbering, numbering structure. What is explained in the paragraph is different what's in the numbering of figures or tables. So this is something which is, as I told you just now, indicate the quality of the thesis and the quality of you as a research student. So don't let your supervisor to check that for you. You must be responsible, must be accountable of the thesis. So this is your masterpiece. So this is very important. It looks tedious doing all these kind of things, but it actually, if you do it properly, it will attract the attention of the examiners to proceed reading the thesis. And figures are not clear, tables are not properly arranged. Some figures are too small. Actually, you can create the figures or tables in landscape form other than portrait form, so that it looks bigger and it can be seen clearly. So all of these actually should be logical. So you can think yourself. And then incomplete list of references. In the text, you cited these authors, but in the list of references, there is no such author. So incomplete list of references. So this one also probably you have to use a lot of softwares in order for you to keep updated about the references. And then the title of the thesis. The title of the thesis does not indicate the whole content of the thesis. Some theses which I read, actually the title is not suitable. It's not suitable when we go through the whole thesis. And definitely it needs to be changed accordingly. And this is another important thing that I want to tell you. Most research students too dependent on the sample thesis from your seniors. Too dependent on sample thesis from your seniors. Because why? You must remember that not all the theses put on the rack in the library, put on the rack in the resource room of the faculty, can be used as as your main reference. You must remember that. Because why? If you make that thesis as sample thesis, then when your seniors did something wrong, then you will follow the same thing. So that's why you must find a good thesis if you want to have a sample thesis, a good thesis. There are many good theses that you can obtain probably in universities in Malaysia and also overseas. It can be obtained easily. Some are available freely online. And then you use outdated references. Being a research student, you must always keep abreast with all the changes, with all these happenings around the around the subject matter, that you are researching on. So you must also make sure that, and it is suggested that usually references should be probably you can use this formula. 10% of the references should be of the recent one. Should be of recent one, probably 5 years of recent. recent references. So this is actually the general mistakes that I found, which can be considered as an overall indication of the quality of the thesis. Yeah. So you must remember this. Yeah. All right, and then common mistakes in the thesis write-up. We look at the abstract. Yeah. Fundamentally, an abstract should consist the following. This is the what I call the 5+1 points that should be in an abstract. Yeah, introduction. This is the introduction, and then after that you have to explain about the purpose of the study, or the research objectives. Yeah, and then you explain a little bit about the method or the methodology that you're using. And then you can also what I call put your results or findings. Yeah. And then after that, conclusions. And these are actually 5 basics elements that an abstract should be. If you want to put forward the future research in the abstract, it's okay. Yeah, if you want to. Otherwise, 5 of these points definitely will suffice, and what I call should be in an abstract. Yeah. So basically, from my experiences, most research students can write the abstract accordingly based on these points. Yeah? But anyway, here I would like you to what I call focus on this. Yeah, focus on this, whereby don't go astray. Yeah, don't go astray. Just focus on these important points. Yeah? Because abstract is also, besides topic, when examiner got the thesis, they will read the abstract in order to get the general overview of what you are doing. Yeah, this is very important. Yeah, that's why abstract should be clearly and properly written. Yeah. All right. Okay, now we go to chapter 1. What are the common mistakes? Yeah, in the thesis write-up, especially in chapter 1. Yeah. Some students got confused between what to write in the background of study and problem statement. Yeah, background of study and problem statement are two different sections. Yeah, background of study, it portrays the general introduction of what the overall issues being looked into by the researcher. Yeah, and the problem statement, it emphasizes the main issues at hand to be studied. Yeah. Like from the title of the thesis, yeah, types of variables can be easily identified, yeah, and the issues should revolve around the main variable of interest, which is the dependent variable. This one also another important point that you have to look into. All right, and for background of study, you can write 1, 2, 3 pages because you are talking about the overall issues being looked into. But for the problem statement, no need to write more than 1 page. Yeah, problem statement where you write the issues being studied. Yeah. So what are the issues being studied? Yeah. What are the issues being studied? Actually, the issues can be identified from the title itself. Yeah. Okay. How to write the problem statement? You have to look into the dependent variable. What is the dependent variable being looked into or being researched on? So from here, you can write about the problem statement. What is the issues being, what is the issues that revolve around the dependent variable? Yeah? And most students actually, although they write what are called quite lengthy problem statement, actually the problem statement is not that sound. Yeah, because they cannot identify between the dependent variable and the independent variable. Yeah, what more control variable, mediator variable, mediating variable, or moderating variable. So as a research student, understanding the dependent variable, understanding the independent variable is very important. Yeah. Okay. So main variable of interest. Yeah, main variable of interest. Those actually, after we have this seminar, probably there are a few students who will get what called direct consultation with me. So this one we can explain further. Yeah. But here I'm going to share with you when the problem statement is not properly written, then you are in big trouble. You are in big trouble. Problem statement no more than 1 page. Enough 1 page only, because it will attract the attention of problem statement is where you can attract or distract the attention of the examiners. Yeah, and then also you must probably some thesis you can write the gap of study. Yeah, the gap of the study could also be introduced in the problem statement. Or sometimes you can also write the gap of the study in chapter 2. You can do that, but as long as you write a good problem statement, because the gap of the study could also be the yardstick for the contribution of the study, whereby you want to close the gap. In the literature, so it can be the yardstick for the literature. All right. Also, another important thing that you must identify is what are the sources of the problem statement? What are the sources of the problem statement? So you must also think of, if you don't do the study, what will happen to that problem? Will the issues being resolved? Will the issues being stopped? Will the issues will exist? Will still exist? Yeah. So without what I call proper ways on how to overcome that. So you must get this from what I call from many sources. You can write problem statement from many sources. So the main point here that I want to emphasize is, you want to write a problem statement, you must identify what is the dependent variable, the issues in the dependent variable, which can be obtained from the title of the thesis. So this is very important. That's why I'm stressing about the how to write a good problem statement. All right. Other than that, in chapter 1, research questions are not written. Some theses, there's some students, they work. I'm not sure whether they accidentally left the research questions or not. But research questions should be in a thesis, because research questions, I'll tell you, research question is very important because why? I'll explain afterwards. And if the research question are there, but it is not clearly spelled out. It is not clearly spelled out. The research question are not clearly spelled out. And then the research question actually did not address the issues or problem statement discussed. The research questions are not, we can say that, do not tally with the problem statement being looked into. So being a research student, you must ensure that from the problem statement, and then from the research questions, and later on from the research objective, should be in tandem. Should be in tandem, or should be parallel. And then the level of research questions also must indicate the degree you are pursuing. Like, don't only use what that one is suitable for the undergraduate project. You must, especially for PhD, for example, masters by research, you must answer why. You must answer why this is happening, whatsoever, or how. You must answer the question of how this is happening whatsoever. So the level of research question, we have 5W1H. So you must use the high level of W, and also you can use H, how. So the level of research question must also be looked into. And then research objectives are vague, are vague or not measurable. So this is another important thing, because we have what I call objectives which can be measured and objective which cannot be measured. This one, here I'm not going to explain one by one, but I'm just touching on this important point that you have to address, that you have to look into when you do the thesis write-up. So because problem statement, research questions, and research objectives are the three elements that an examiner would look into. If all these three are not in tandem, then what called the quality of the thesis is questionable. And research objectives and research questions are not met or parallel. So you should learn this in research method class. How you're going to map the research objective and research questions. And you can have you can have one research objective. With one research objective, you can have so many research questions. Yeah, you cannot have one research question with so many objectives. Yeah, research objectives. Remember, yeah, please listen here. One research objective, you can have more than one research question. Okay, one research objective, you can have more than one research question. Yeah, that's why in a thesis, let's say you have 4 research objectives. Yeah, for the research questions, you can have at least 4 research questions. But you, when I say that you can have at least 4 research questions, it can be more than 4 research questions. It depends on the problem statement that and also the issues being studied. All right, and then I would like to ask you now, what are the main reason for writing the research questions and research objectives? Is it because this is the format of the thesis? So you in your thesis also you have to come up with a research question, research objectives. But the question is why? What is the main reason for writing the RQ or RO? So anybody can help me answering this? Anybody want to share, or you want to say something about this? You can share your points. Then I can we can discuss that. Anybody? What is the main reason for writing the research questions or the research objectives?
Hello, Prof.
Yes, please. Shahila.
To guide you,
Yeah.
to guide you to answer the problem statement, to address the problem.
Okay. Okay, good. Yeah, it is good answer. It is meant for guiding us. Yeah, in order to find the solution. Yeah, because when there is problem, you are writing a very nice problem statement. So there must be some answers. So you have to the main reason you do the research is to find solution. Yeah, you are not creating another problem. So that's why when you are writing thesis, when examiner read the thesis, the examiner can find, oh, this is the solution that has already been found in your analysis, in your findings, in your research. But if there are problems in that, then you are creating another problem. Yeah. So a very good answer. Yeah. So that is the main reason for writing the research question and research objectives. And actually, another important thing, why we must have research question, research objective, that most research students fail to understand this. Please listen here. You should learn this in research methodology class. Research objectives usually guiding us in chapter 4. Chapter 4 is for the data analysis. So research objectives is basically can be what called met when we are writing chapter 4. And research questions, it can guide us when we do the research discussion, especially in chapter 5. So you put forward the research question in chapter 1, but there is no answer for that. When there is question, so you must answer, right? When there is research question, you must answer. So where to answer the research question? So the research question should be answered in chapter 5 in the discussion part. So this is how it works. Research objectives, we can fulfill the research objectives in chapter 4 in data analysis, and research questions should be answered in chapter 5. So when people read from chapter 1 until chapter 5, there is a coherence. There is coherence, or there is continuity between one section to another section, one subsection to another subsection. Otherwise, your thesis, there are a lot of hiccups in your thesis. When examiner reads, a lot of hiccups. So that's why you must always bear in mind that how to answer the research questions and how to meet the research objectives. All right. Any questions about the common mistakes in chapter 1 up to this point? Or you want to ask anything about my anything that I shared here? All right. If there's no question, I think I assume that everyone could follow my explanation, yeah? And hope that you take note all of the points here so that you can come up with a good
Hello,
problem
Prof.
statement. Yes.
Good. We were taught in research method class that in identifying the gaps, you should read the limitations of other works so that you look out for variables. Now, after you found a variable, if you are writing the problem statement, you discuss those issues within the problem statement. Is that enough for the problem statement, or you also have to discuss more about the issue you want to resolve?
All right. So we can say that problem statement, yeah? You can write anything 2 or 3 pages in background study, but problem statement, it must be focused to a variable that you're going to study. Yeah, you have to you have to focus on the variables that you're going to study, and the first variable that you have to focus is on the dependent variable. Because why? Because this dependent variable is the variable of interest that you want to study, and then the variables that precedes the dependent variables is the independent variables, and the explanation of all the independent variables you will explain in chapter 2. Yeah, you will explain in chapter 2. Yeah, so for a problem statement, you can get the what called the support, yeah, from literatures, yeah, from current news, from what call from sayings from certain people, yeah, and then from what else, from empirical findings, yeah, from statistical what call statistical figures, statistical findings from Department of Statistics, for example. So all of these could be what called the basis and could be the support for the problem statement. Yeah. So, and again, it should be revolved around the dependent variable. Let's say if we are talking about this is example how to write a good problem statement. Let's say I'm going to study about the issues of bribery, yeah, issues of bribery in Malaysia, for example. So now the main variable for interest, let's say, yeah, this is only example. The main variable of interest here, I'm talking about integrity. So let's say I'm talking about the integrity. So in my problem statement, I'll be talking about the integrity. So this is the main variable of interest, which is the dependent variable in my research. So how to come up with a good problem statement here. So I'll be talking about the integrity, about the study of probably the report from the Auditor's General report regarding the mismanagement of public funds, for example, in most government agencies, and then probably you get data from reliable sources like certain bodies, yeah, regarding the number of graft cases, yeah, and then from literatures, for example, regarding the bribery situation in other countries, which revolves around the integrity only. And then you support with probably with the what call report with the saying with certain political parties, for example, regarding the bribery, which is the threat to our country, for example. But in the background of study, you can talk about many things. You can talk about bribery in other countries. You can talk about anything which is revolved around bribery. And then in the problem statement, you talk about integrity. The study from a certain department which indicates that the level of integrity among the Malaysian civil servant is not up to international standard, for example, or something like that. Yeah. And then, because this one, from the problem statement, later on, we will discuss in chapter 2, because we want to see the coherence, the continuity between the problem statement chapter 1 and also chapter 2.
Thank you, Prof.
All right, thank you. Okay, now I will explain regarding the chapter 2. What are the common mistakes in the thesis write-up in the chapter 2? Okay, please pay attention here. And chapter 2 is basically about literature review. Everyone knows about that. Yeah. But when I read, when I examine the PhD thesis or master's thesis, it is not a literature review. It is about literature reporting. Yeah. Means that you are just reporting what other people have done. Being a research student, this is not the way. Yeah. Literature review means you are reviewing other people's work. Yeah. So this is the main idea. So you must get this skill by reading a lot of journal articles. Yeah. How other researchers did their reviews. All right. So you must you can get that skills by reading a lot of good research articles. Yeah. Especially from Scopus or WOS journals. Don't read what call you can read also articles from non-index journal, but if you want to master the skill of writing a good review, then you have to refer to this kind of good tier journals. All right. The review of the literatures should start with the discussion of scholarly written and reviewed main variable of interest, which I already emphasized just now, the dependent variable. Other name for dependent variable is response variable, and also endogenous variable, all the same thing, all the same thing lah. So okay, for the literature review part, you must start with the main variable of interest. I always emphasize this in my comments when I examine thesis. What is the main variable of interest in your study? So some students cannot answer. They don't understand what is the main variable of interest in your study because they don't really bother about what is the dependent variable, what is the independent variable that they are currently looking into. So as a research student, you must understand this. Please pay attention to this. The main variable of interest, which is the dependent variable. So you must start the literature with the main variable of interest. As I told you just now, the main variable of interest is the dependent variable. Like in my example just now, we are talking about integrity. So you must talk about integrity. Probably the condition of integrity or anything which is related to integrity in Malaysia, in the international platform, and then you go to the local platform in Malaysia, for example, you talk about integrity. All right. And then after that, the review for the predictor variables. The review for the predictor variable or independent variables. The same thing, predictor variable or independent variables, or sometimes we call it as exogenous variable follows. Then you can discuss about the predictor variables. This is very important because some students actually they discuss about the predictor variable first. This is very wrong. In the literature review, you must discuss about the main variable of interest first. How to identify the main variable of interest. The main variable of interest, being a research student, being an examiner, we can easily identify from the topic, itself. Then you will discuss about predictor variables. Also, I would like to stress here, being a research student, please get used to all these jargon words. Probably some of you are novice researcher, so please get used to this jargon like predictor, exogenous, endogenous, control, mediator, and moderating. So you must get used to all these words, so that when you read journal articles, you can understand that better. Even sometimes during the Viva, what is IV, what is DV, the student got confused. Don't get confused easily. So you must understand that. And then I would like to share with you that, especially in chapter 2, lack of support for the research framework. Lack of support for the research framework. Research framework, sometimes we call it hypothesis model. Lack of support for the research framework. Those who are doing empirical study, for example, because my background is on the quantitative study. So basically, my comments on the what call quantitative part lah. Yeah. So whereby the hypothesis developed are not what call are not being are not cooked. Are not cooked in the sense that the what call the support. Yeah, I mean, it's not being critically reviewed. Yeah, you just report what the people have done, what is the relationship between variable A to variable B without critically reviewing. Critically reviewing means that from the result of this researcher you got these findings, and then but you got different findings from other researcher, for example. So you must make sure that all findings, how to come up with a good hypothesis development. So you must discuss that critically. This is what I can say, that lack of support for the research framework, and some thesis there's no underpinning theory. You don't discuss about the theory. Because especially in management research, when we are doing research, what we do is nothing new. What we do is nothing new. In this world, there's nothing new that, especially when we do research. So you must ensure that in your research, at least one theory, one primary theory. One primary theory in your research framework, in order to support your research framework. And this theory you must understand. Like if you do if you do research on the marketing, on the whatever, if you want to employ stakeholder theory, so you must really understand what the stakeholder theory is all about. And what is the competing theory for the stakeholder theory. Or you want to use resource-based view, resource-based theory. So what is the competing theory for the resource-based view? So besides besides employing one theory, you must also other theory, because as you know, probably will ask, why do you use other theory which is better than this theory, for example. So being an expert in your research, because comparing between you and your supervisor, actually you are the one who do the research and you are the subject matter expert actually. So you must know this. What is the theory? What is the best theory in your research field? So that during the viva, you can explain this better. You can convince the examiner, oh, this research students knows the theory very well, and he or she can relate their theory to the model, to your research model. All right. All right. Then next point, this one I already emphasized regarding the literature reviews versus literature reporting, and actually I found this a lot. Actually, you are not reviewing, you are reporting. You just report what other people have done, the result from others researchers. But you are reviewing. You say that this this author did this author did this, and they got different result whatsoever. And then what is your point? What is your things that you should write? What is your review for that particular issues? All right. And also you can also work off for the literature review. You can put in a tabular form, so that when examiner or people read your thesis, we know that you are doing something. You are really reviewing. You are really reviewing. You are not reporting. And then after that, also this one, hypothesis development are haphazard. Okay, this one hypothesis development are haphazard in the sense that you did not actually know whether this is positive, negative, or just posited significant relationship. Some research students that I found, they thought that when they learn about especially that I found in many cases, those who do the structural equation modeling in your analysis, when they learn the software anything, then they thought that they knows anything in the world. They knows about statistics. So this is wrong. Structural equation modeling is only the technique, for example. But you must know the statistical basics. What is the positive relationship? What is negative relationship? How to identify positive relationship? How to identify negative relationships? In the literature. So this is actually what we call as reviewing, literature review, whereby you can identify from this research, they posited that the relationship between A and B is positive. But from other researchers, they posited that the relationship between A to B is negative. So what is your hypothesis? What is your hypothesis then? Then you can decide whether you want to proceed with a positive or negative relationship, or you can proceed there is significant relationship only. So it is based on your this is based on your what I call review. So which hypothesis, which direction of the hypothesis that you want to put forward. All right. And then some people got confused themselves with the research model, with hypothesized model, conceptual model, and empirical model. Actually, for me, some researchers, some trainers try to differentiate between research model, hypothesized model, conceptual model, and empirical model. Although we can actually make it different between them, but I can say here that probably conceptual model is the graphical form of the model, which you conceptualize graphically. That's it. And then empirical model, the model that you conceptualize graphically. So you explain regarding the theory being used or being embedded in that particular model. And hypothesized model is the model that you have all the hypothesized relationships between the variables in that particular model. And the research model, you can say that the research model is the model being tested. But for me, I assume that all of these words, research model, hypothesized model, conceptual model, theoretical model, I assume it is the same. But usually I will use research model. So again, you as a researcher, sometimes when you read this article, they use research model. When you read other article, they use hypothesis model. When they use conceptual model, theoretical model. So you as a researcher, sometimes you have to be firm which words that you want to use in your thesis, and you have to be consistent. Cannot in chapter 1 research model, chapter 2 hypothesis model, chapter 3 conceptual model, then it jumbles up. So you have to be firm. Which words you have to be consistent. All right. Any questions regarding chapter 2? This is basically the comments that I gathered from my experiences when I was in thesis about 50 PhD and master's thesis. That I think this should be what call you as a research student must take note. Don't repeat the same mistakes over and over. Okay. If there's no question at the moment, then I shall proceed to the common mistakes in thesis write-up for the chapter 3.
Prof, I think we have one. Someone is raised a hand.
Okay, please.
Is that any question? Adiba, I think someone.
No question.
Okay, Prof. There is one question in chat box.
All right.
In a qualitative research, we don't have variables, right, Prof?
Even in qualitative research, you must have variable lah. You must have verbal. Otherwise, how to what call how to proceed with the reviews, how to proceed with the analysis, right? They must be verbal. It's just a matter of whether you are doing empirical study or you are doing non-empirical study. Verbal not only for quantitative.
Okay,
Yeah.
Prof. Okay, we have another question. I mean the dependent and independent variables.
All right. Oh, you mean
Okay.
for the qualitative research?
Okay, Prof. We have another question from Ella. Hello, Prof. How
Yes.
can we relate the main theory to research model later? Related the main
Okay,
theory.
good question. How to relate? Yeah. How to relate the main theory with the research model? This one is very important. Being a research student, you must really understand what is the main theory when you read journal articles in your main field of interest, research field of interest. You must look at the theories being used by other researchers, by this researcher, by this researcher, and then after that, you are trying to find out the best theory which could relate to all the model being tested, which could relate to the variables being tested in your model. This one, it depends on the field or area of study. Yeah, because let's say if you are doing something which is related to the performance, organizational performance, for example. Yeah, so there are a lot of theories. Yeah, there are a lot of theories in organizational performance. Probably you can look at the stakeholder theory. You can look at the resource-based theory, and many theories available in the literature. Or you can also use model-based theory like TAM, technology accepted model, UTAP model. Even UTAP model, you have UTAP 1, UTAP 2. So you have that kind of model-based theory. So again, how to relate that? So that's why you must understand the theory. So how to understand the theory? You go back to the original source of the theory. For example, who come up with the theory? So try to find what call the explanation of that particular theory. You must understand that, and then if you don't understand, go and look articles that use that theory in their research. Try to understand how they relate their theory to their model. Yeah, this is very important. Because later on, you will use the same method in explaining how this theory could be used in your research model. That's why the skills of explaining is very important. Yeah. So you cannot gain this overnight. So how to gain such a skill? You have to read a lot. You have to read a lot of research articles. That's why I always advise research students, please don't read sample thesis. Sorry to say, sample thesis in the library. Please read research articles in the Scopus or WAS database. Because from there, you can get the skill, you can get the gist of writing that. So you can get this probably in a few weeks. Yeah, if you constantly reading how other people's relate the theories with your model. And is that am I answering you, Ella?
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
Okay.
But
Okay.
excuse me.
Yeah, please.
So sorry, Prof.
Yeah.
I have some question also about the theory. Let's say maybe I have more than 5 variables. Do I need? I mean, like every variables they have a main theory. Is it okay? Not only one theory.
I wouldn't suggest that, Ella. I wouldn't suggest that. At least one or two theory would be suffice, because you will be in big trouble. Because yes, because too many theories in a research model will give you a lot of trouble, especially when it comes to the discussion. I will
Okay.
explain this when we are talking about common mistakes in thesis write-up, especially in chapter 5. I won't suggest that, please. I won't suggest that. At least one, or at most, you want to go for 2 theory, please, but not more than. If you have 5 verbal, 5 theories, please. Please don't
Okay.
laugh. Yeah, please
Okay.
don't. So you have to read a lot of what called papers. If you read a lot of journal articles about this, they only use at least one theory in order to explain the connection between the verbals in the research model. Yeah.
Okay. One more question, Prof. So sorry.
Yes.
Whenever we explain about the theory, do we need to put the citation about the previous study, whoever used that theory before on their papers or article?
Yes, that one for sure. So you have
Okay.
to properly you have to properly cite the references, because because when you cite, when examiner read your thesis, then actually you are doing your work, you are doing your job as a research student, because you read a lot. Yeah, so this is
Okay.
very important. So you must do that, because after all, as I told you, thesis is your manuscript. Yeah? And we must always refer to other people's work. We don't create something new. We don't create a new wheel. What we do is always being what called being based with other people's work. So you must do that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm a bit still confused how art later to relate the main theory to build a bit like with a model later. In which
Uh,
part usually article? Oh, sorry, the person.
Actually, in order to explain about
Uh-huh.
the theory, the
Uh-huh.
interrelatedness between the theory and all the variables or the model, it should be
Uh-huh.
explained in chapter 2. It should
Okay.
be explained in chapter 2. Especially, you can what call you can relate this usually after the hypothesis development. Yeah. Then
Okay.
you
Okay.
have to talk about the interrelationship between the theory to your model, and how
Okay.
this theory could explain about the variables in the model. Okay, in terms of its
Okay.
relationship between one
Okay.
variable to another variable, or how this theory,
Okay.
probably you use a very established theory, how this theory
Okay.
could support the model. So how to
Okay.
explain this, definitely it
Mhm.
depends on the areas of research. So how to
Mhm.
understand this, the skills
Mhm.
of understanding how to relate the theory to your research model, you can
Mhm.
get this by reading a lot of journal articles
Okay.
that explain as such how to explain, how to relate the theory with the research model. Yeah, so you have to
Okay.
read a lot lah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you
And
very
okay.
much,
then,
Prof. Thank you,
all right.
Doctor.
Okay, Ella,
Sonia.
I think
Sorry.
thank you, Ella, for the questions. Thank you, Prof, for the answering. I think we should continue the presentations. So later we will take more questions for the Q&A session. Prof, you can continue.
Okay,
Continue
sure.
the
Thank you,
presentation.
Dr.
Thank you,
Sonia.
Prof.
बहुत shukriya.
Yeah.
And now let us go through to chapter 3. Yeah, I think we have about 45 minutes. Yeah, more to go. All right. Now we're going to look at the common mistakes in thesis write-up for chapter 3. And for chapter 3, so it's chapter 3 is the methodology chapter. Yeah, chapter 3 is the methodology chapter. All right. So those who are doing research, you are doing masters by research, or you are doing a doctor of philosophy by research, PhD definitely by research. So, but you don't even what call tells the examiner what is the research paradigm that you are embracing. You don't even write what is research paradigm, but in the research methodology class, you learn about the research paradigm. Kan? Okay, you learn about the research paradigm in the research methodology class, but in the thesis you don't even write about the research paradigm. So what is the research paradigm? How many research paradigm you have? So I'm not here to explain about the research paradigm here, but I'm going to share with you that the research paradigm is not written in the thesis. So now you must when you are about to write the thesis, even now what is your research paradigm? What is the philosophy of research that you are embracing? Yeah, because you are doing doctoral philosophy, but you don't even tell us what is the philosophy that you are embracing. What is the research paradigm that you are embracing? Okay, and then research design is not well written. Yeah. Research design is not well written because you don't understand about the research design. You learn about the research method, about the research design, but research design is like a plan. Yeah, research is like a plan, but it's not well written. Yeah, what is the component? What is the element in the research design? There are 5 to 6 components in the research design whereby you must explain about the objective of the study. You must explain about the sampling procedure. You must explain about the what else? There are 5 or 6 points of elements in the research design. So you must explain about the research design. And then the misunderstanding between the population and sampling. Yeah. And then types of sampling, whether probability and non-probability sampling technique. This is since we are from management field. Yeah. You must really understand, yeah, what is the population, what is the sampling, yeah, and then the type of sampling that you're going to employ. Yeah, you must understand this. Although it looks like mathematical statistic, no. When we are doing research, especially to those who are doing empirical study, yeah. I'm sorry, those who are doing qualitative study. Yeah, I am not an expert in the qualitative study. I only knew a little bit only. So you have to probably ask someone who are very good at qualitative study. But here I'm sharing my experiences when I'm checking when I examine PhD thesis, and most of the PhD thesis is about empirical study. Yeah, so you must understand about the sampling, about the population, and what is the probability and probability sampling technique. Yeah. So this one, if I ask you, yeah, what is the probability and non-probability sampling technique? Probably most of you probably can answer it. Probably, yeah. Those who can answer, very good. Yeah. And misconception on the random. Misconception on the random. Okay. Now, where most theses that I write, they wrote the questionnaires are distributed randomly. Okay. So now I'm going to ask you, what is random? Anybody wants to try to answer? What is random? How are you going to employ random in your sampling procedure?
Hello, Prof.
Please.
Randomness is where each participant has the same chance of being selected.
Okay, very good. Very good answer. Very good point. How should I address you? Is it Fred?
Fred.
Okay, Fred. Okay, now can you explain to us if it's wrong, then I will rectify it. Yeah, how you're going to do the random process? You can give example of your own.
Maybe simple random.
Yes. How to do that? How to do that?
Normally for simple random, it means you will need the sample frame. You need a sample frame, which most often is very difficult to come by.
Okay, very good. Yeah, so I think this is a very good answer from you, Fred. I think probably you have gone so many statistical classes. I think this is a very good answer because most students that I asked, they thought that random is like distributing questionnaires at the cafeteria, for example. Then they just distribute the questionnaire just like that. This is not random. That one is haphazard sampling. Random is you must have sampling frame, as what Fred said. So you must have sampling frame, and usually in management research, it is nearly impossible. It is nearly possible. It is nearly impossible. It's nearly impossible that we get what I call sample which are randomly selected. Yeah, but in research, in PhD research, in research, so to say, with the PhD or masters, we can collect data, we can collect samples which are non-random. Some research students would think that, oh, if I cannot cannot choose samples which are non-random, I cannot do my PhD. I cannot get a good result. No. You can do non-probability sampling technique, non-random sampling technique as well in the research. It's just a matter of whether the findings of your study could be generalized or not. Because you must remember why we do the sampling, why we do the probability sampling technique. Probability sampling technique, we have four types of probability sampling technique: simple random sampling, cluster sampling, systematic sampling. One more, systematic.
Stratified.
Stratified sampling. Okay. Yeah. Very good. Stratified sampling. So there are four basic types of probability sampling technique. And this probability sampling technique, if you employ any of this technique in your sampling procedure, so your results could be generalized to the whole population. It is about the generalization to the whole population. But if you employ non-probability sampling technique, you can proceed with your research. It's just that you cannot generalize your findings to the whole population. Because random is about generalizing to the whole population. If you employ non-probability sampling technique, the findings could we can say that could be generalized to the theory being used, to the theory being employed, to the theory being applied. That's why theory is very important. That's why I always stress that in your research model, you must support your research model with theory, because when you analyze your data, all right, whereby the sample selection is based on random sampling technique, so that particular findings could be generalized to the theory being employed. So that is the idea of the random sampling or non-random sampling. And then after that, issues of sample size. Some students will those who are especially those who are using SAMPLS, for example, because it's very famous technique now. They use SAMPLS due to of the sample size issue. No, it's not because of that. Not because of sample size issue you go for SAMPLS. That's why you don't use SAM-Amos maximum likelihood estimation technique. No. So some thesis also they are lacking. They have inadequate of sample size. In the research. And then after that, the issues of generalization. So this is another important thing, but I will address about this. Issues of generalization, we can generalize our findings to the population, or we can generalize our findings to the theory being employed. Because as a research student, you must understand this carefully. You must understand this because it is not because you don't do random sampling, so the findings of yours are not good. No. So you can what called generalize your finding to the theory being employed. And then after that, another important thing which is very that you have to look into is the lacking in understanding basic statistics. Lacking understanding basic statistics in terms of mean, median, mode, variance, and standard deviation. And also in inferential statistics. Because what I found is when most research students, when they learn about structural equation modeling, for example, so as if that they know everything. When we ask about what is mean, when is the what is the citable measures to be used when data is skewed? Because if you don't understand about statistics, because you cannot use mean as your mean measures if your data is skewed. If your data is normally distributed, then you can use mean, because mean is greatly affected by the skewed data. Why you have skewed data? Probably your data consists of outliers. Outliers also, some of you even do not know what is outlier. And outlier, we have univariate outlier and we have multivariate outlier. So how to determine how to get rid of the outlier in our analysis? So you must understand this. This is basic. This is basic. Don't think that when you analyze your data using certain statistical software, irrespective of SAMPLS, SAM-Amos, SPSS, Microsoft Excel, SAS, Minitab, whatsoever. Actually, the software does not. If you input anything into the software still can run and give you the analysis. like if you are doing reliability analysis, yeah. If you have only 50 samples and you put in the SPSS, for example, and you find the reliability analysis using alpha combat, definitely SPSS or any software would produce the result of alpha combat. But actually, statistically speaking, it is not reliable because why? Because the number of sample size is not suffice. Yeah, it's not enough because it is suggested that in most references, for example, it should be more than 100 sample size. So besides learning about the basic statistics, you must also know the justification. You must also know the behind the justification behind all those measures. Yeah? And what is the descriptive statistic, inferential statistics also do matter. Yeah, so you must understand that. Yeah, how to understand this? You must go to many basic statistical classes. Yeah, and then lacking understanding univariate or multivariate analysis. Yeah, you do multivariate analysis. Yeah, but you don't even know what is the definition of multivariate analysis. Whereas in your analysis in chapter 4, you are doing multivariate analysis, but in chapter 4, you do univariate analysis. So how we're called to understand this? So that's why as a research student, you don't only since you are doing since if you are focusing on empirical study, so you must know all of these. Yeah? If you understand all the basic statistics, yeah, then you won't. I'm sure that there will be no misconceptualization. Misconceptualization not only in the content of the thesis, but also in the statistical analysis. Eh? So and this is very important. Eh? All right, next. Common mistake. This is continue. Still chapter 3. Confusion between pre-study, pilot study, and field study. When I examine thesis, some they use pre-study, then after that pilot study, then field study. Some they do the pilot study first, then they do pre-study and then field study. I'm confused, because you don't you don't really bother about this, and actually there are big differences between that, lah. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, pre-study is usually meant for determining probably the what called like those who are using instrument like questionnaire, for example, pre-study, and it depends on the scholars that you are referring to. Probably number of sample which is less than 30, so you can do pre-study in order to see the what called overall performance of your questionnaire, for example. And then pilot study, it is suggested that more than 100 what called 100 sample. And pilot study, yeah, the samples of the pilot study should resemble the sample of the field study or real study. And some students do not realize this. Yeah, and also some students will use the samples in the pilot study in the field study as well, which you cannot do that. Statistically, you cannot do that. So you must understand this. Yeah. So if we talk about the level of the study, start with the pre-study, pilot study, and field study. And sometimes you don't even have to do pilot study. Yeah, especially to those who are using instrument from if you adapt the instrument from established questionnaire, for example, and then you just do a few arrangement, a few changes in the questionnaire, for example, because probably that questionnaire is developed in the Western country, but you're going to fine tune the questionnaire to Malaysia, for example. So you do some changes. Okay, and then you can do the pre-study and then straight away to the field study. Yeah, no need to go for pilot study. Yeah, so it depends on the context of the study, and also it depends on the what we call on the availability of your sample. If you have if you think that you can get a lot of samples for your real study, yeah, then you can go for pilot study. Otherwise, if you have limitation in getting the sample, then you can do the pre-study. Pre-study, the sample can be can be not similar with the sample in the real study. But for the pilot study, you must ensure that the characteristic of the sample should or must resemble the characteristic of the samples in the real or field study. Can you get this? Can you follow me? Am I
Yes,
speaking
Prof.
a lot? Okay,
Yes,
good.
Prof.
Okay, very good, very good. I think how many participants? I cannot see how many participants in this seminar. Dr. Sonia, I'm afraid only Dr. Sonia and Fred only in this seminar.
Yes, Prof. Yes, Prof.
How many participants joining this seminar?
Prof, 109.
Oh, well, quite a good number, but a very silent seminar. Only, but it's
Maybe
okay.
Prof,
Hope.
morning time.
Yes, yes.
That's why
Morning.
they-
I think in the morning everyone should be fresh. Yeah. But anyway,
Yeah,
I hope that those who come to this seminar will obtain something, will get something from my explanation. Yeah.
Inshallah, Prof.
Okay. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
All right. And then instrumentation. Okay. Probably you must also look into the whether you really adopt the questionnaire, adopted or adapted or newly developed questionnaire. But usually for the research student, don't go for newly developed questionnaire. Usually in psychology research, probably the instrument could be developed, could be newly developed. Usually we adapt. We adapt the questionnaire from other research. So we adapt. Adopt, I think for research student, don't I think there must be some changes lah. Don't really adopt. You must adapt to the context of our local context whatsoever. And then the issues of validity and reliability. Some students actually they are still confused what is validity and what is reliability, and some of you are still looking at the reliability alpha cromba. Whereas those who are going to any research methodology courses, reliability is not only alpha cromba. There are so many reliability nowadays. So that's why you must always keep yourself up to date regarding the methods. Excuse me. All right. And then from my experience, chapter 3 just like resembles a research method book. Really, Because why? When I read chapter 3, just like research method book, even chapter 3, there must be some reviewing effort. Don't let the examiner read your chapter 3 like reading a research method book. So you must, chapter 3 is about reviewing also. It shows how deep you you understand about the research process, about the research design, about the methodology, about the statistical analysis that you're going to use. You must remember this. A lot, this is just like research method book. Sometimes they just, sorry to say, copy and paste and then do some changes whatsoever. So this is something that you have to ponder. You have to ponder. Overall, the research method is not clear. Overall research method is not clear, whereby the future researcher cannot imitate the same procedure. A good research, will allow other researcher to replicate your research in their local context whatsoever. So that's why you must doing research is not like it's not like doing one way work. So you have to think in many ways. You must be multifaceted. You must think in a lot of ways, in a lot of diagonals. So that, and you must understand a lot of things. Because you are going to be someone who own a PhD, who own a master's by research, where you know how to do a good research. You can do a very so-so research. But actually we don't want that. What we want is you want to come up with a good research by following a good research process, a good research procedure. So that's why you need to know a lot of things. That's why what are called the mastery of research method class is very important, number one. And number two, the mastery of good statistical basic. Good statistical basic, this is another bonus point or merit point for you to proceed, because most research students, especially in management, they are lacking in this. They're lacking in statistical basic. So I want you to also look into this, where you have to go to many statistical classes, because it will help you a lot. Especially those who are doing empirical research, quantitative research, and this is very important. And okay. Let us go to common mistakes in thesis write up for chapter 4. Why it is not moving? All right. Okay, now it's moving. All right. In chapter 4, exploratory factor analysis. Usually, when we do chapter 4, in chapter 4 for the data analysis, we will do some descriptive analysis. And the descriptive analysis is wrongly explained. It's wrongly explained in the sense that when I check your data is skewed, the skewness of the data, we can check for the skewness of the data. Your data is skewed, but you explain using mean. So it shows that your statistical basic is very low. Because for skewed data we cannot use mean. For skewed data we use median. And also some research student, I will ask, why when we have mean, so standard deviation is reported long. When we report mean, why standard deviation is reported long? So why is that? Why standard deviation is also reported? So there must be reason for that. If you read any journal articles, so standard deviation should be there. Don't only report the mean. The standard deviation should also be reported. And what is your understanding about standard deviation? What is your understanding about the variance? Standard deviation and variance is just like brothers and sisters lah. But how to understand this? So this is points that you have to look into. You must understand this. And then this one I already mentioned in the previous slide. Multivariate analysis, but using univariate analysis technique. Like you are doing multivariate analysis, but using univariate analysis. If I ask you what is univariate and what is multivariate, how to understand this? So again, this is another point to ponder. So you just use that particular technique because that technique is what call is being popularized by your seniors, for example, by other researchers, but without knowing the basic, the foundational, or the underlying principle why you employ that kind of analysis. Especially those who are doing SAM, association modeling. The statistics basics that you must understand first is you can go for regression. If you understand regression, or a simple linear regression, but definitely multiple linear regression, and that could help you a lot in understanding such modeling technique. So that's why you must know about this. Probably those who want to come for the consultation after this at 11, if you have question, then I will explain to you, because I don't want you to repeat the same mistake. Because your thesis, inshallah, one day will be displayed on the shelf in the library, for example. So when your juniors read your thesis, if your thesis got some misconception, then your juniors will also repeat the same thing because they thought that all the thesis on the rack or on the shelf is a good thesis, for example. So I don't want you to repeat such mistakes. I want you to understand and also to practice, to apply the correct procedure or the correct technique in the research process, as well as in the statistical analysis part. And then not checking the assumptions on normality, which depends on the statistics techniques to be used, parametric or non-parametric. If I ask you, do you know what is parametric or non-parametric? Yes. Do you understand about parametric or non-parametric test? Although this looks like a statistical knowledge, but actually it is statistical basic. Yeah, you must understand what is parametric and what is the non-parametric test. And definitely from my experiences, yeah, let's say those who are using t-test, for example, yeah, the research student directly apply t-test without looking at the assumptions of the normality. And you must check for the data distribution first before applying t-test, yeah, because t-test falls under the parametric test. So if the data distribution is non-normally distributed, you cannot use t-test. Then you go for non-parametric analysis. So what is the equivalent technique for the t-test? We have Mann-Whitney. So we have Mann-Whitney test, yeah. ANOVA, the distribution of the data set should be normally distributed. But if the data distribution non-normally distributed, you cannot use ANOVA. So you have to use Kruskal-Wallis. So you must know this statistical basic. Yeah, you must know this statistical basic. And then some parts in chapter 4 still being explained like in chapter 3, you know, still being explained like chapter 3, because like this, yeah. Let's say you want to report about the reliability analysis. In chapter 4, it should be purely about the results of the reliability analysis. Don't explain again about what is reliability, what is the range, the range for reliability that has been suggested by scholars. Hari Hair, Hari Hair, for example, suggested that the reliability value should be. No need to explain that one. You have already explained or reported in chapter 3. Chapter 4, no need to explain what is the definition of reliability. Yeah, so you just straightforward go for the findings, and you say that, oh, the instrument has good reliability as suggested by Hair et al. Blah 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 blah. You can do that. No need to explain about reliability. Yeah? This is from my experience. Sometimes this will distract the attention of the examiner. Yeah. And then still lacking the understanding of the basics for statistical analysis techniques such as type of test, whether directional or non-directional hypothesis, etc., etc. And you are still confused, or if not confused, you actually don't know. For example, what type of test is it? You are using one-tail test or using two-tail test? Is it directional hypothesis or non-directional hypothesis? So these basics you must master. Yeah. And then after that, fail to comprehend the confidence level and alpha being used. And the justification for using certain values in the analysis. Yeah? What is alpha? Why using alpha equal to 0.05? Can't you use alpha equal to 0.01? Can you use alpha equal to 0.0001? What is meant by alpha equal to 0.05? What is meant by alpha equal to 0.05? So it shows the confidence level. Yeah? So you must understand all the basics. If you read all the journal articles, alpha, confidence level, all are the probably for you it is jargon words, but actually it is buzzword. No more jargon, but it is buzzword. Yeah? Buzzwords as a researcher. So being a research student, you must know all of this. Yeah, you must know all of these words. Yeah? And then not using current techniques in the analysis, because being a research student, my all dearest student, being a research student, you must know the current techniques or the current methods in any analysis that you employ. For example, in the thesis that I examine also, even until now, like because my area of study is in the structural equation model, so I like to give example on this as well. Yeah. Now we have new techniques, right, in establishing discriminant validity using HTMT. But they are still students who are still using Fornell-Lacker criterion for establishing discriminant validity. So that's why this is not up to date, and you must also always keep abreast with the current techniques by reading a lot of articles in the lot of methodological articles. Yeah. All right. And all right, we are about to finish another 7 or 8 minutes, something like that. And this is the last slides that I'm going to share with you regarding the common mistakes. And this is right up for chapter 5. Yeah. The slide is not moving. Wait for a while. All right. Okay. And this is the last slide. Yeah. Common mistakes in thesis write-up chapter 5. Yeah? The discussions of the findings, the discussion of the finding chapter 5 do not answer the research question. This is big mistake in this writing. Big mistake in this writing. Yeah. We know that in chapter 1 you have research question, right? You have research questions, you have research objective. Okay. For the research objectives, it has already been fulfilled in chapter 4. Yeah. But chapter 5, you must discuss, you must answer about the research question, because in chapter 1 we have research question. When there is a research question, should you answer that? You must answer that. Where to answer that? In chapter 5. You are going to explain about the findings in chapter 4. And you must discuss here. And the discussions is actually the big contribution of your thesis. What your findings, that you reported regarding the analysis in chapter 4, and you have to discuss. You have to discuss scholarly in chapter 5 regarding the findings. You have to relate with the theory being used. You have to relate with other researchers' findings, and then you have to answer why your findings probably does not in tandem with other findings, or why your findings parallel with other findings. So you must discuss here. You have to answer why. This is the contribution to the body of knowledge. Contribution to the body of knowledge. So that's why discussions is very important. You have to answer here. You have to answer in chapter 5. So actually, when I'm reading the discussion, when it answers the research question, and we can, as an examiner, we can easily identify, oh, you have already come up with the answers and the solution to the problems being studied. So this is the big contribution to your study. Because you must remember, doing PhD by thesis and also master's by thesis, is about contribution. It's about contribution. Contribution to the body of knowledge. You must remember that. It's about contribution. So you must identify in the beginning of my presentation just now, I'm talking about the contribution. What is the new knowledge that you want other people to have? So we are talking about contribution. So you must identify what are the new variables in your study that could be an added value to the literatures. So if you don't discuss it, the findings, if your finding is half cooked, then you are in big trouble, especially when you do PhD, because PhD is about contribution. As a examiner will ask, what is actually the main contribution of your study? Right? And then the contribution of the study is not clear. This one is also another important thing. The contribution of the study is not clear. So you have to think of what in terms of the contribution of the study, in terms of theory, in terms of practices, in terms of what. But please, there's no contribution in terms of methodology. Just because of you're using SAM-PLS, or you use techniques, other statistical techniques, methodology is not a contribution. You must remember that a lot of theses will write this methodology as part of the contribution, which I disagreed totally. Methodology is not the contribution. You use that particular statistical techniques as a tool only. Contribution can be in terms of practices, can be in terms of theory, and you have to think of other parts of contributions of your study. This is very important. Being a research student, you must think of what is the contribution to the body of knowledge as well. And then future study is not clearly spelled out. When future study is not clearly spelled out, it means that you don't have any suggestion to the future researcher. For me, which is not very good. Being a research student, you can suggest to other researcher what is the future study that you can propose. so that other researcher can proceed. All right. And then also in chapter 5, you must remember this. Yeah. Usually, which I've not written here. Chapter 5, you can write the limitation of the study. Yeah. Limitation of the study and scope of the study, which in chapter 1, scope of the study in chapter 1. And most students, sometimes they write limitation of the study in chapter 1. Please don't write limitation of the study in chapter 1. Limitation of the study should be in chapter 5. Because why? As the name implies, limitation of the study is the limit, is the constraint, that that you cannot avoid during the research process. So here you have to spell out probably point by point the limitations that you that you can avoid. Yeah. So limitation, what is the limitation whatsoever? Scope of the study is different with limitation. Some students also got confused between scope of the study and limitation of the study. You must clearly differentiate between these. Yeah. So I think that is my knowledge sharing. Yeah. Basically my knowledge sharing based on my experiences being the examiner for masters and PhD thesis on the common mistakes. Yeah. On the common mistakes in the thesis write-up. Yeah. So I hope that all students will gain something. Yeah. And please don't repeat the same mistakes, because I already shared here. Yeah. I already shared. You already got many important points. So that you can come up with a good thesis. Yeah. When examiner, and also from my experience, I've supervised quite a number of PhD master students as well. Being a supervisor also, sometimes when I read my students' thesis, sometimes we cannot spot the what are called deficiencies in thesis. But when we become examiner, we can easily spot, identify the deficiencies in the thesis, and then we can ask them to improvise the thesis. But that's why it's always advisable that you read, you go through the thesis many times. And you follow all the procedures that you learn in the research method class, so that you can come up with a good thesis, and you won't have any problems during the Viva session. I hope that it helps you a lot in your future undertakings, especially in the thesis write-up. I think that's all. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh dan selamat pagi semua.
Thank you so much, Prof. Now I think we have moved to our today's sessions of QA session. If you have any questions, you can ask, or maybe you can write in the chat box.